actually acquitted themselves. Really proud of Adrian and what she's done. Kim Irvin is also on that team. We also have our, I suppose you would say, audiovisual overlord, Brad, on this team, and Anthony McMullen, who's formerly been a skip, has been away and has come back. That's great to see them all, long-standing WA members. On Team Broken Bones, we have Michael, Jane, Ricky, and Mark, who I'm afraid to say are not familiar to me except for Mark. Mark has also been representing Australia of late in the wheelchair division, which is quite exciting for Australia. We haven't had a lot of wheelchair representation, so all of the club here in WA are very much proud of him and what he's been able to do, and to all our representatives. So we have 2 rounds remaining with the amount of teams, as can be seen on the screen here. We have 15 teams. As you might be aware, there are 5 sheets available at Coburn. So that means 10 teams playing over 5 games. So a third of the teams have a bye every week. So we're coming down to the pointy end. Most teams have only 1 game left, some 2. So with Broken Bones and Senior Moments, they are unfortunately well off the pace, so this might not be a really deciding match. But we'll keep an interested eye on the remainder of the sheets and probably give you some updates throughout the night. We'll be with you shortly for the start of play today. Looks like we might have a few members filling in. Wait and see. While we have him here, we can ask a few questions potentially of Brad, who is playing for our team the senior moments. Brad, how are you feeling about tonight's game?
Oh, it'll be interesting. Yes, we could be all over the place. We have been this season. I can't say we've had a solid string of form, but we'll see how we go against the Wheelies. This is the 2 Wheelies, and I mentioned about the Wheelies because we've actually got 3 members of a team going over to Korea in a week or so, which is the Sticks and Stones team with Ali and Phil Howe, and also Jane. He's also going with them, and a couple of people also from New South Wales, Nathan Pentecost, and also James Powell, who also went with them last year. So a good solid team of 5 going to Korea, which will be a really good thing. So it's not a real feeling of it, but it's really good. Beautiful feeling, but
Excellent, thank you, Brad. We'll wait to see how those go. A special mention to other international representatives. Earlier this morning, we had the news that Team Williams, the Australian women's team, won the gold medal in the B division of the Pan Continental Curling Championships. So that brings Australia up to the A division for next year. So they'll be able to compete at the A division in the Pan Continentals, which will then put them in contention to be able to compete to get into the World Championships and Olympics and so on and so forth. So yes, it's skipped by Helen Williams. We also have some strong WA representatives in Karen Tithridge and Michelle Fredericks Armstrong, plus the coach Dustin Armstrong. So well done to the ladies there. Take a few minutes for everyone to get together, and we will soon be on our way. A brief interlude there. We have the toss of the coin. We'll just await the outcome of that. So that's a win for the senior moments. Could be the first of many tonight. And our skip here, Adrienne, has chosen to take the hammer for last stone for those listening. Excellent. Well, good curling to all involved tonight. Look forward to seeing a great evening of curling. It's being shaken, and away we go. So it seems with the late male, it's a 3-member team tonight for our Broken Bones. So we have, by the looks of it, Michael Colleone down this end with Jane Hutch. And at the far end, we have the aforementioned Mark Flowers, resplendent in his Australian team uniform. So, the first stone of the night. For those who haven't watched previously, this proves to be a slightly different game to the standard. To be aware, for the uninitiated at least, that curling is generally the sport with the rocks and the sweeping, but we won't see any sweeping tonight. Obviously that's slightly difficult with wheelchairs, hard to follow it down the ice and sweep, so there is generally no sweeping in wheelchair games. And the general agreement of rule at Curling WA is that even if you're an able-bodied team able to sweep and play a wheelchair team, it's a sort of gentleman's agreement, so to speak, that no sweeping will be done to level the playing field. First stone has not made the hog line. It's been hogged and is removed from play. So Kennedy to take the first shot for senior moments. And it looks like she's got a bit deep indeed through. That is the challenge with the non-sweeping rule, and also on early ice. We find that, especially for the first few ends, the first few shots of the first ends, it tends to be a bit frosty. So you can go one of two ways. We saw with the first shot that it wasn't far enough. So the rock slows down on the frost. You can't sweep to get it to travel any further. And then knowing that, you might overcompensate as Adrienne did in her last shot. So here comes the next one from Jane. And it looks to me as if it has made the hog line, which is good. So that's sitting as a bit of a corner guard. They would probably like it a bit more central to block the way to the middle. so that corner guard is quite some use to senior moments. So Anthony, who's taking skip duties tonight, is calling for Adrian to draw behind that guard. Better this time on the weight, but it's barely going to make the hog line. So that's it. Actually ended up about a centre guard, so that's probably more of what Team Broken Bones was looking for. So they've effectively swapped things. So we might see Broken Bones draw into the centre behind that guard just thrown by Adrian. Alright, so here's Jane with her third shot. Has aimed to draw behind their own guard. Not necessarily the usual tactic if you don't have the hammer. Normally you would try and get into the middle, but that's what's been done. And that's come up to that centre guard. So they can't be too unhappy with that. They're in the centre, blocking that off. They're also blocking off the guard that Adrian threw, so that will make it more difficult to bump that up, raise it into the house. No stones in the house as yet. It's
okay. Maybe the other way between the camera.
Okay. So using the outside here and coming around, but it's still not quite into the house at this stage. Quite sure. And that's, as mentioned before, a bit of a feature of the start of the ends, and especially combined with this non-sweeping game. So here comes Michael. He's also going wide. That is... looks like he's put the wrong handle on there, and that has just gone right out of play. Go wide once again. So throwing probably a similar shot as was intended by Broken Bones previously. But we'll have the opposite handle on, so turning in towards the house. And that looks like it's got a fairly good weight on it. But perhaps a little much juice there from Kim, and that is sliding. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that has slid almost all the way through, but it is hanging on the back. I'm unsure whether that one is actually in the house. We'll wait and see. It may become a moot point. Looks like Mark may be treating it as such. In any case, that can be used as backing for the Yellowstone here, if they can get it through, which seems not to be the case. In fact, that one has fogged as well. So we're at third stones now for the traditional 4-player configuration. So here's Brad coming to throw his first. Again, using that outside draw path. Centre is well clear. Look at that, it's pretty good weight. Is it on that red? We'll bump it up. Will, but not very far. So just that lonely red sitting on the back. Michael with what will be his third and final shot. And they've looked to go straight down the middle here. It's looking like it has a bit better weight. It is sliding off a bit to the side. But it might be on their guard and bumping that up. This could be a good shot here. And it's not too bad, but it's not gone as intended. That yellow has come up, but they've inadvertently knocked the red into the house, as can be seen on the camera there. So things looking pretty good for Team Senior Moments here, as Brad comes in to take his second shot. Outside again, there's plenty of reds out there. It's curling in, so we might get some action here. And he's played that perfectly. That's gone right to the 4-foot. That's a fantastic shot by Brad. Looks well undercover. It is undercover of a yellow, so that could be raised back. So we'll see what option Mark takes here. His plans. Himself.
Just adjusting.
So the first skip stone of this game from Skip Parkwells. Drawing against 2 or 3, it's hard to say here. So with that wide path, it looks like he's trying to come just a draw. See how much curl the ice has. Doesn't move, there's plenty for him in front to hit. So that is moving, but it's really hanging out. And this, they might come unstuck here. It looks like this red one's coming into the house as well. Oh, further in. Was on the edge, yes, indeed. So that does sit open. It's there to be hit. At this stage, Broken Bones need some stones in the house. Mark has thankfully confirmed for us that the back red there is fighting the house. So we've currently got Team Senior Moments lying 3 with hammer. So Anthony's first shot to come on Skip Stones. They're looking in a pretty good position here. 2 of those stones are guarded. Coming out on this left-hand side, plenty of room, no yellow to bump up as we saw in the previous instance from Mark. And there's plenty of red to potentially bump up and into the house. Or to bump up. Here comes the draw. That's just on the guard. It's a bit light, so not a great deal of change there. Stone here for Mark. He is well off the brush there, but on the good side, he's got yellow to hit. But it's moved too far away. Ooh. And it was moving and then it came back. So nothing could happen here. And no damage done. So that leaves a pretty good position for Senior Moments here, drawing for 4. Now, despite Mark's unsuccessful shot here, he has actually made it slightly more difficult for Senior Moments. There's a lot of yellow out the front, so they will be anxious to avoid that in throwing their last shot here. It looks like Brad's going to take the right-hand side. Essentially, as we saw with the... No, he's having a think about it. Changing his mind. There's a lot of yellow over that left side as we look at it. But there is one red that can potentially be bumped up. So he should be far enough out that there's going to be no harm possible. Famous last words. Here is Anthony's last shot of the end. Goes. And it's not moving too much, so this looks like a pretty good shot. Wait, but it's come off, and oh, it's spilled in. Hasn't stayed in. I think it has. And that looks like it is. Okay, that confirmation. That is 4 to senior moments, so that's a strong start from it. Very strong start to the end. So we have Broken Bones now with a hammer to begin the second end. All of those shots seem very slow, so we'll see how the ice develops. For those who haven't watched a lot of curling, the ice can change quite a bit over the course of the end. There's a few factors for that, typically sweeping, also the rocks running over, body heat from the players. This place will start to warm up. A lot of sweeping happening on the other sheet, and warm bodies and warm breath. So usually it keens up, becomes a little bit faster as time goes on. Sweeping, of course, having less of an impact in this version. So Adrian has thrown in a guard. And that's stopped. Midway between the hog line and the house. That's on the corner, similar to the first shot of the previous end. They'd probably prefer it to be in the centre. First shot coming up here. Looks like she's given that a fair whack. And that might end up being through the house. No, in fact, it is just outside the house in this case. So that's a pretty good guard. Similar to the previous game, they would prefer that to be a little bit wider. But no, we've got a red corner and a yellow centre. Adrian with her second shot to come. They were after, but ended up guarding the Yellowstone in this case. So not getting the exact curl they were hoping for. That's a potential win. They've got a stone in the centre. It's harder for Broken Bones to access, and it's also more difficult for them to raise that front yellow into the house. A very simple tap up previously. Out in place. So here comes Jane once again. Looking quite similar. And that's really slowed down. Has made the hog line. That's off to the side. Maybe a little wide, maybe a little short, but that is most certainly useful. Looks like that one came out with quite a bit of force, but we've got a couple of factors working against it. The first is where it was thrown, so we haven't played a lot on that right-hand side of the ice as yet, so that will still be quite frosty and may remain so throughout the game. And the spin. When you have overspin like that, it tends to slow the rock down a little. So on this particular side of the ice, as viewers may recall, we've actually spent quite a bit of time in the first end. So this might go a little bit faster. It's certainly moving, but it has almost slid off. And it's going after that cone, so that will be out of play. I could wait though. We've been in the front of the house. That's where you want them in the stage of the end. Jane with her third shot of the end. Like quite good weight, maybe a little overspin, but not excessively. That's just coming in nicely. Lucky they might even get a split here. Oh, and they have, and they split two into the house. That's a fantastic shot by Jack. Well split, so those will be difficult to remove. The end starting quite well for Team Broken Bones. So Anthony electing to call the straight hit here from Kim. There she goes. So a shiny spot, and that has rolled off to the left-hand side. Out here, it does. Oh, have they had a bit of luck? I think they have. And that's gone into the house. So, that is looking like it might be shot rock as well. And that is shot by a very narrow margin. It's not quite the intended outcome, but there's still definitely some hope here for Team Broken Bones. It's a decent shot here from Mark, but he has blocked it up. So yeah, they probably wanted a bit more weight on that. That red was there to be taken. Or at least moved. And it looks as if Senior Moments are going to have another go at this yellow. Looks like a draw. This could be a little bit interesting. We've seen the previous rock, although a high weight shot slide up to the left. So this might not curl as much as they are hoping for. So outside that shiny patch, it can be seen on the camera here, and it is rather staying outside. Can he get it to go back here? He does. Just a little. That's a bit light and short of the house. Still very much usable though. Anthony has given us a bit of intel on what's happening. As can be seen on the broadcast, that shiny bit of a path left by the Zamboni, and that is just killing off the weight. Giving enough effort. So, but there's no weight being killed off here. That's a good hit there by Michael to take out that stone and leave the front open. But senior moment still with shot stone at this stage. So will they draw or will they have another crack at that yellow? I think he might still be a bit wide here. But we'll have to wait and see what Brad dishes up. Patch, and it's just sliding away. It is curling. Actually curling quite well. This looks like a pretty well cold shot from Anthony. It's not really near the centre where they wanted it, but it comes right just off the tee line. So that's now shot rock. So senior moments in a fairly good position here. So Mark will likely wanting to take out the stone and probably roll to the centre to get shot. The ice is taking, it looks like it might be another draw, possibly a freeze. So that one looks like it was well inside. And it's got a little heat on it, but it is slowing down there as Anthony's told us. And we might get a little bump on this front one if it doesn't. Oh, and it's on the Zamboni track, and that has come through very well. That's in the 4 foot. Great throw there by Michael. And there's your shot stone. So that is just behind the tee line. So that is potentially a path that senior moments could take to freeze to that stone. If they sit right in front of it, that would be very difficult to remove. Just need to adjust for the ice that was thrown as opposed to cold by that, so quite inside. Here at Coburn we do tend to play a script almost as it were, with the variability of the ice in these Zamboni tracks. Sometimes you'll find that you're just playing the same shot in the same line again and again and again. Could find that here. At the higher levels, there's a fair bit of talk about the differences in ice between, say, club ice and arena ice, those specially prepared for events. But no, neither of those are very high standard compared to the difficulties we have with Coburn. Very unpredictable, night after night, depending on what the Zamboni driver has done. It looks like he's laid down some very challenging ice for us here tonight. Ice makers certainly do their best efforts with the ice key and the pebbler, but some things cannot necessarily be overcome. So here comes Anthony, he's got a bit of heat on. Although he does need to get down this line here, and that is sticking out. So a bit too wide here, and that's just going to fall away. With a bit of curl. That's slowed down nicely though. That's going to sit in the house for a second shot. So, T broken bones sitting with shot stone. Second, third, all with senior moments. So 2 shots to come from Mark. chat off camera to one of our other stick curlers, Phil, who, judging by the very large bandage on his head, may have had a bit of a tumble. Happens to the best of us. I recall watching the Worlds a couple of years back, and the Estonian skip took a very, very heavy fall on camera. The ice can strike anyone at any time. Speaking of striking, Mark looking to strike while the iron is hot here. He's got shot stone. Can come in for a second to start evening things back up. First shot. Looks like he's taking a good line. But it has skipped over that section and is falling away. Now, based on the last couple of shots, it might come back a little bit, but not enough. This doesn't have that curve, so it's just going to sit to the outside, and I suspect will be a non-factor for this end. A lot of different play you have to do here. I had the privilege of heading over to Nationals in 2022 as a skip with Bradley my team. We did poorly, safe to say. It was very difficult adapting to proper ice conditions that we had at the Maniototo Curling Club over in Naismond, New Zealand. They were fantastic hosts and they made fantastic ice, but I was not able to take good advantage of it. Here we have all manner of ridges and tracks and divots to deal with. It's a bit more challenging, and suffice to say it is not played exactly like you would see on TV. Anthony with his final shot here at the end. Looks like they're taking good ice here. We haven't really played a takeout on this one. And that has dropped off. But it is in the track, so I think this is going to be okay if it comes back. And there it is. And that's going to go exactly as per the previous shot. And it's really slowed down too. Ooh. But that hasn't made it, so that's lying as second shot. So Mark with a real opportunity to come in here. He's got backing, he knows the line that he needs to take. I think this is a little bit aggressive from Michael here. So Brad giving some tips. No need for a takeout at all. All they need to do is draw down that line. Maybe give a little more weight, give it a bit of a tap, but all they need to do is sit on top of that red. It's just being towed. And they'll have shot and second shot. That's some good line taken by Mark. And it's down this same track here. Will it hold? Won't. It's literally a bit too much rotation on that. So that sits outside the house for nothing, and we have just the one yellow there. That's an opportunity missed. Two ends, we have Senior Moments leading Broken Bones 4-1. Mullen will update the scores for us here. Despite the sweeping of this game, shoes, take it off the jacket. So essentially a bit of stress going on here. Make it a little hot under the collar. In this case, broken bones to first stone down for broken bones. Sitting nicely in the house behind the tee line. And it looks like Anthony is looking for the tap back here. Now it is in the house, so they have the right to take it out if they wish to do so. Hold by Anthony here, so comes Adrian. Looks like it's pretty well thrown here. Might be a touch heavy. Not a lot of curl. It's going to get a piece. It's going to get a good piece, and it has knocked that back and out of play. So roughly the intended result. And just climbing the rings a bit, but still in that area behind the tee line. Second stone for Michael here.
On our sheet, it is 1-1 after 2 ends.
Okay. There goes the next stone from Michael. And that has ended up in the house, just in the 12 foot. See what is the next shot. Looks like Anthony is looking at putting in a guard, possibly a scoring guard towards the front of the house. Happy to ignore that yellow stone. Comes Adrian with her second stone. And it looks like that may have overcurled a bit, so that's coming towards the middle. Really where they want it from a hammer point of view. And yes, that is a close centre guard. So still usable, but I think they would prefer to have the centre open here. Now a brief interlude as Jane lines up for her next stone. So over on sheet E, we have Team Aitken leading the Slay Queens 4-0. After 2 ends, and on sheet D we have Team Sterling all tied up with room for improvement at 1-1 after 2 ends. there goes the stone from Jane, and that's tapped up that red guard. So always good to have things in front. They can close, they can come into the house, and that's exactly what's happened. So we've got 2 stones in the 8 foot for red for the senior moments. So they're looking pretty good here. Probably looking to throw in the guard. Looking like a pretty good stone there from Kim. Not fully burying them, but she's got a good part of that right-hand stone, from my perspective. Left hand for the viewers. So making it a little more difficult to get both of those reds. Mark is aiming to draw here. They're a bit inside by the looks. See if that has any curl, or it might drop in that guard. And it certainly does move it. Let's see how far it goes. It's spinning up, but it's going to miss the house. So not too much harm done for Broken Bones. They do need to be getting some stones in the house and usable if they're to come back from this already large deficit. It's certainly there for them. They've got 2 fairly central guards. There's backing as well to be had. So they just need to make use of their opportunities. Another guard by the looks. Drawn in nicely there, and that's going to sit well in front of those 2 reds, and that's fully buried the left-hand red on the camera. That's a fantastic shot, and it's in the house, so they're now lying 3. So senior moments really putting the foot down here. With his 3rd and final shot. There's a bit of rotation going on. Easy. So not much happened there, just a little bit of a shifting of the yellow guards. And in fact, they guarded those red stones even better. Some updates from the other sheets from Leah here, Leah Arachi. So on sheet A we've got 1-all between Team Rockets and And on GB, it's 3-0 to Red, which is Team Artis. A bit of variability tonight. Now, where are we? So, not much change here. Still some yellow up front, red in the house, and Senior Moments looking fairly dominant. So Michael will come with his last shot. And this could actually end up fairly well. They've got about the right ice, and they'll either come around or knock up these guards. So this is looking pretty good, but it looks to have maybe overcurled a bit, and it's a bit light too. So that's on limited use. But they do have a couple of yellows lined up here, as can be seen, well, on my screen, but not yours.
Do you want scores for the other end? Oh, you got it.
Brad with his second shot. Looks like he's taken about the right amount of ice here from Anthony. And that, if it's got the weight, should slide in nicely behind those guards. But it doesn't have the weight, and it remains in front of those guards. So not a lot changing here. Broken Bones are looking to take an alternative approach. Now they do have the space here. And if they get it right, then there's a chance they could get in behind those guards they have in front. Not necessarily the easiest of tasks with the way it's been moving around on this side. And I think they've probably taken a little bit too much ice here, but that remains to be seen. So Mark with his first shot. We're on skip stones now. This might be just little enough ice, but I suspect that might be a bit wide. And he is on, maybe, yeah, he's a little outside the broom there, so that might just stay out, which is not going to help them. Unless they can get a corner of this one. Not sure that was the intention. But it could work out. No, it's not got the weight. So that just jiggles around the stones a little. And no change to the situation in the house. Brad and Anthony conferring over the first stone to come for Team Senior Moments from the skip. of a wealth of riches here with this end. So much so they're struggling to figure out what it is they want to do. And it's looking to me like they might want a guard or a high scoring stone in that on that right side. So with the way this end has been going, this should stay pretty straight. Or this side of the ice, I might say. So they'll look to stick it in that gap, both as a scoring stone and also to prevent Mark from coming down with his second and messing up things from the good situation they have right now. First stone for Anthony. Who is, I hadn't noticed before tonight, a left-hander. There aren't too many of those around the club. He's a little bit wide here, so that might slide out. But it's good enough, and it's caught that track. So it'll be coming back, and there is a bit of curl. Well, it's worked out okay for them. It's blocked up that gap, so making it hard for Mark to do a lot here. He does have those yellows in front of the house. And two of them are lined up okay, so there's a chance he could put them in, or put one of them in. But I'm honestly not sure what he's intending to do here. Not anywhere near the broom, but he is quite close to these yellows. I don't think this will... What have we got here? Oh, all caught. And he's had a bit of luck, so he's taken away one of the reds. So that's an okay result. May or may not have been the intended outcome, but it's an okay result for Broken Bones here. We have seen the moment still lying 2, so looking to build on their lead. And they've got a pretty open left-hand side to draw in for a third stone on this end. It is indeed looking like the draw. Now, I have to be careful to make sure he takes enough speed for this side of the ice. I haven't been playing a whole lot over here, so it could still be a little frosty. And that remains to be seen. But as far as line goes, should be pretty uncomplicated. There's no yellow over there to hit, all sorts of room. So all he needs to do is come full 8 foot, and he'll have 3. Gone pad down here, put the brakes on and a bit of a spin. So he has come quite wide, and not looking like it won't do a whole lot, except maybe, just maybe, hit that red, And that hasn't really done anything at all. So, looking like two for red here.
That drifted out and kept going. It's about 3 inches further out than we played. So everything's coming back late. That one's good.
So that's two for red here, 2 for Senior Moments. So they increase their lead to 6-1. Which is a pretty handy lead, especially in any curling, but especially on Coburn ice. So we'll see what Broken Bones can do to come back from this. So just as he was finishing up over there, Anthony let me know that he was a little bit wide of the brush there, and that just threw them off completely. It just went out and kept going, only inches off. But it's a brand new end, and you're always a chance. So here comes Adrian with her first shot. And that's looking a bit slow. It's just clogged up on that Zamboni track there. And that's hogged. Well short of the hog line. So always an opportunity for Broken Bones here. If you don't use your stones, then that lets the opposition set them up like they want. So Mark looking to get a shot in from Jane here, and musical guard. Looking pretty good, but it is a bit central. They do have the hammer here. And that is going to come into the house. So that can now be hit. So for the uninitiated, there are a few rules to curling. It's a very technical sport. And one of those that we have to deal with a bit is called the free guard zone. Also known as the 5-rock rule. So what that means is that the stones sitting outside the house, or guards in front of the house, they can't be hit, well, removed from play before 5 stones have been thrown. So in this case, Jane's first shot has come into the house, it's not in the free guard zone, and can be hit. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were aiming for there. It looks like a draw was cold and has been made by Adrian. She's gone a little deep. So that is usable for Team Broken Bones to come on to. And I apologise for the issues with the right hand house view. That camera seems to have frozen. So we'll see if we can get it fixed before the remainder of the end, or before the next end even, which we're depicting, rather than the last. Nice card there from Jane. I don't know if it's going to be too useful because we do have that track on which their shot stone is sitting. And Kim will probably throw straight down that. It's not entirely predictable. If it can be kept on that track, then that yellow is gone. There's every chance that this stone may, for example, skip over the track or fall away too far, but it looks pretty good from here. And it's holding well and coming right down just as you would expect. And it has moved, but it has moved out that yellow. So not perfect, but they have got shot stone back here. Yep, less ice, says Anthony.
2 inch less ice.
Yes, it is tricky. The behaviour on that track there is generally predictable, but you can't get it exactly. And you can't rely a lot on the curl in that case to keep it straight because it's going so fast. So, yeah, didn't quite make it. Jane with her third stone here. Looks like it's got a bit of pace on it. Here it comes. Maybe not too much pace. Actually a pretty good looking shot. Just going sliding deep as well. And takes a little of the red. It's got the rest, and I'd say the red's probably shot stone there. And looks like at this stage Anthony looking to guard, but to have one in the rings as a scoring guard. Now, based on his last end, he might have taken a bit too much ice here. Let's see how it turns out. And Kim is perfectly on the broom, as usual. And it is hanging out. It's coming back now with the curl. That looks like a pretty good shot. It's a bit wide, but it is not quite making the house. Okay. Still very much usable. But over to Mark now. He can potentially remove this red and sit 3 in the house. That said, if he does move the red, he does leave a bit of a target. So let's see where he comes. Looks like he's wanting to come down the track here and sit behind the guard, which is not a bad shot to be called. Just a little easier said than done, perhaps. Now that one's a bit inside, and it looks like it's going to bump up the guard, so that's also a good option. It's not hit it straight on; it's just cleared things out. So the centre's open for them. Not a terrible outcome. So we've got play proceeding on all the other sheets. 4 ends completed on many of them. So I'll see if I can give you a score check in a minute or two. Brad with his first shot. Coming down that track once again. Just making the hog line, hasn't made it over. Anthony comes to take a look, and it has. Not terribly useful for anyone at this stage, but someone may be able to sneak one in behind it. Well, this is interesting. It seems to me as if the yellow might be shot stone. Because Mark's not doing anything with that red. And here comes the shot from Michael. And it's sliding on to make it around the guard, I think. just squeezes past. That's a pretty good shot from Michael. And that's going to rest in the house. Fairly high. Anthony now looking to remove that yellow that was just thrown. So he's acting potentially as if his is shot stone, so I'm really not sure which is. So here comes Brad with the takeout. Hack weight, nothing crazy, so there should be enough curl here to keep that online. And out it comes the track, it is sliding, it is moving. And it looks like he might flash here. And he does. He does. That is a pretty well thrown. That is hack weight, but they've not taken the right eyes.
That was on the inside of the stone. Just about
Yep.
hack weight.
Yep. Yeah, Anthony having a little difficulty with the ice here tonight. And as Gibson Coburn, don't we all?
Oh, the house. Oh,
Just all around technical support will be helping us with that house camera shortly. So just another guard in here on the yellow while I'm not paying attention. So that front one's looking pretty good. And look, there is a decent chance here for Mark and Team Broken Bones to pick up a couple. If they can foil the plans of Anthony and Senior Moments. So it looks like Anthony's aiming to guard here. That looks like better ice. That should stay pretty straight, as we found. So for those unfamiliar with curling or even this standard of ice, essentially we have to get a little bit creative when it comes to the shots that are cold. So you've already seen the shots falling off on both sides, both ways. So what we try and do is use the natural curl of the scone to combat that a bit. So in this case, the handle that is being asked for is going to be curling to the left, coming down the sheet towards us, whereas the ridge or the slope is going to be pulling it to the right. And all going well, it should stay nice and straight and sit in front of that red stone. That's the plan anyway. The mileage may vary, but that's looking okay. So that may have overcurled a little bit. Yes, the slope seems a bit more pronounced, a bit to the left of that. So that's sort of track we've been dealing with, and a bit to the right, but not quite in the middle. So that one remains open for Mark to hit, but he's ignoring it. so we have that camera fixed, which is very handy. Thank you to Brad. Yes, all-round extraordinaire. He's a very loyal servant of the club, has been president, has been policy writer, has been a lot of things. He's a great man. So coming down the right-hand side, and this looks like a bit of a nothing shot, to be honest. Has moved that yellow into the house, but if that's... no, it's through. But if it's going to count for anything, if any of those are going to count for anything, they really must get rid of that red. So Anthony with his last shot here, and then one to come from Mark. So they'll look to block that off. So in this case, I think they might be a little bit far over, so they might have overcompensated a bit. I think this may slide off, but we shall see. He's on the brush, that's looking pretty good. It's not slid away, but it has stuck out. Here it comes now. And that's a really good shot. A little heavy, but it is sitting in front of that stone. And now this is for Mark to deal with. Now the opportunity is there for a double, but they will lose the shooter. So it's not quite welded on. You're going to have to hit about half of that rock, that front rock on the right hand side. But I'm a little confused. They are ignoring those. I don't think you want to play by halves here. I mean, it's not an easy takeout shot to make. And well, that is off the broom, but on. So I'm not sure what the intention was there. And that is going to clip the guard. And a few catches here. And that is out of play. So that's looking like it will be probably one red. And one run it is. So Speedy Moments with the steal there, and taking a 7-1 lead. Now I'll excuse myself for just a minute while I get some scores from the other sheets. my apologies for the interlude there, getting the score checks. I've just wandered around the ice very carefully. I'm in fairly slippery boots tonight. So, over on sheet A, we have Sticks and Stones versus the Rockets. After 3 ends, with that injury having put things on a slight hiatus, or a bit of a delay, we have the Sticks and Stones leading the Rockets 3 points to 1. On sheet B, it's looking a little one-sided. Close to the end of the 5th end, but after 4 ends, Team Artis are leading the boys 7-0. On this sheet, seed C, as you'll have seen, Senior Moments are leading Broken Bones 7-1. On sheet D, Team Sterling lead Team Broom for Improvement 5 points to 1 after 4 ends. And finally, on sheet E, Team Aitken have lost a little ground. After 4 ends, they lead 4-3 over the Slay Queens, aka Junior Girls, aka Team Douglas, who have also recently represented Australia, at least at a curling camp, and will probably do so in another capacity. They currently lead the league, and they are very good. We'll bring you some more scores potentially later, but back to our coverage here of Senior Moments versus Broken Bones. So just 2 stones in the house at this stage. 1 high for Senior Moments, who are without hammer, and 1 at the back of the house, soon to be 2 for Broken Bones. So 2 in the house, but that is Senior Moments lying 1. And it looks like Anthony may want to freeze with the shot here from Kim. Away she goes. Just stuck out once again, coming down this sheet. She might have been a little off the brood there. But that, nevertheless, that has ended up in the house, and that is shot stone. So the Broken Bones simply must deal with these scoring reds if they'd have any chance of making a comeback. Of the 5th end on many of these sheets. So we may have an update for you in the near future. I'll see what my broadcast team of 1 can do. Yellow in the house for Team Broken Bones, which Anthony is very keen to remove here. Can't see it too well. In fact, there's two in the house for Broken Bones. Now, can they keep it? I think it might be sliding out again. Might get a piece. It'll remove 1, but 1 will stick. Does stick. So that's 1 removed. So as far as the Senior Moments are concerned, This is fine. Yeah, they're well up. They just want to play a defensive game. Well, generally, that's what you would do. Play a defensive game. Get rid of your opponent's stones so they can't mount a comeback. And essentially run them out of rocks, so to speak. As mentioned a little earlier, we don't always play curling like you would expect to see at, club or international level, just by virtue of the competition. It's a mix of social and competitive. So it seems to me that senior moments are going to want to put on the pressure here and score as many points as they possibly can. So Michael with his next shot. It's looking like it will be a guard. Not a great help to the Broken Bones here. So he's guarding their opponent's stone inadvertently. And one of the tips for strategy is that you should not guard, well, tactics even, is that you should not be guarding your opponent's stone. But it is nicely lined up if they want to tap up and make a play on it. So it's not the end of the world. But better to use your stones efficiently first up. That's it. It's very much easier said than done. Oh, thank you. We have a score update from Sheet A. And the score is 6-1. That will be the Sticks and Stones leading the Rockets there. Thanks to Wayne and the team for giving me the update as they completed their fourth end. On our other sheets, we're well into the sixth ends. Well, presently into the sixth ends. And we'll see how the scores are. Okay, so on sheet B, Team Artists has increased their lead, so they're now up to 10-0 on the Junior Boys. Hopefully the Lions can make a bit of a comeback here. So we've got another score update. So on sheet D, it's 6-1 now to Team Sterling. So they picked up 1 point on that end. And 5-3, I believe, on sheet E. There's a lot of red in the house here now for senior moments. And there's a lot of yellow that's just disappeared. So Broken Bones in tough here. Brad's shot in first. Probably just looking to place a guard here. Looks like it's got a little bit much weight. That's just sliding down and out. And into the house. Ooh, and not quite underneath those two reds. So they're now lying 4 and looking to further press home their advantage. So Adrian has kindly confirmed the score on sheet E is indeed 5-3 to Team Aitken. So Slay Queens battling here to secure and retain their top spot. Something of interest to your correspondent here, as I captained the team who is second on the ladder. Now, to our game, there's still plenty of red in the house, 4 stones, and not a lot of yellow around, just one guard. Might have been a few heads dropped here amongst the broken bones, unfortunately. It's a tricky game, and there's sometimes a minimal amount you can do to actually influence it. Even less so in this game. You can't even sweep to help yourself out. You just gotta grit your teeth and persist. Put a happy face. So let's hope the broken bones can make up a couple of points here and make a bit more of a competition. So Anthony with his first skipstone. Looking to throw a guard, judging by that ice. I think he might be a little wide. And let's see it come down the rink. Once again in that track. And it is staying there, there's a bit of curl. So that's a bit different to what we've seen a little earlier in the end. And in fact it's overcurled. And a little heavy as well. So that's just come in nicely. So there's a whole chunk of red there, that's a big target for Mark to aim at. So, as mentioned an end or two ago, the ice does change a bit. So, it looks like we've got a fair bit more curl, and that sort of line is holding just fine in the track. So, Mark's just lined up for a big old hit here. So, we expect some red to go flying. To be seen if that is the right ice with the apparently increased curl and that central ice. I think we might find they do alright. Potentially drastically slide away. Not willing to make a full jump and call on it, but I think this might be okay. They should get something. To shift along this red, then it is hopefully for senior moments in front of the tee line. So if any of that sticks around and the shooter sticks around, our stone that's just about to be thrown, then there's still a little bit more to be done by Mark to get a score back on the board. So here he comes with his takeout. Outside, so this doesn't necessarily bode well. Yep. And that has gone, but it has curled back a bit. So, he's nudged one, so he won't get the shooter to stick around. He might have preferred that, but he has removed that back red, so he did indeed get something. Yes, I think he may have preferred to get past that front red, hit that back one on the nose and save the shooter, but it wasn't to be. So he's still in tough to get a score here. There's a heck of a lot of red. It's sitting in front of the button, and there's no easy way to get to that 4 foot for yellow. And Anthony looking to make it even harder, possibly to sink in a guard, or maybe just put another red in the house and challenge Mark to throw it. So this is looking like a good line now. Or is it? No, that one's slid out. Coming back again, but maybe just had a bit too much weight here. No, in fact it is in the top 12. But that one, yeah, that one went a bit out. That's a little surprising. What can we say except Coburn Ice? So Mark with his last stone here, and unless he can get all those 3 red to go, I'm not really sure how he's scoring. I think it's not impossible to make them all go. You'd have to... you'd have to hit the crotch of those 2 reds side by side, and it would have to be enough of a hit to move the right-hand one laterally, whilst taking a bit off the back one. I think that might be an impossible task, if you can even hit it. Let's see what he's got. He's gone anyway, so it might be a draw to the side. That's not really done a lot. It's just way off there. So that's another big end for the senior moments. 5 in that end. So that is not quite all she wrote, but they will play another end. We have to play 6 here. Yep, confirmed to be 5. So senior moments move out to 12 points to 1. Towards the end of the other games here. So most other games in the 6th end. And we are at 8:30, which is meaning it's nearly time to finish. We'll definitely get another ending for this game here, if they choose to. And on the other teams we do see handshakes. We'll have a score update for you shortly. As if hands have been shaken here as well. It is an insurmountable lead. So yes, it looks like that will be that. So well done to everybody. Senior moments taking the honours here. They played quite well. Broken Bones, not quite, but we do have a couple of new players amongst them. So yeah, it's a learning curve from my own experience. Not quite familiar because it's been 6 years since I started, back in 2018, but I started in a team of all new players, and we lost every single game for at least the first season, possibly the first year. We're going to be big stuff, but it's one of those things. Got to persist and stick around and try hard. So we'll get some score updates from the junior boys and Team Artis. Over on sheet B, the final score was 10-0. Team Artis taking the chocolates over the junior boys. Again, a bit of experience versus inexperience there, and a one-sided result, unfortunately. So still a little bit to come without games on sheets A, D, and E. Let's see if I can pan over a little bit, but probably not. So we can get a bit of sheet D. I'll see what our tech support can do. So on sheet D, final shot to come from Elizabeth of team Room for Improvement against Team Sterling. So they're looking like they're giving up a few here. Indeed they have, so that's definitely going to be a win for Team Sterling. And they're shaking hands as well. So Team Sterling, they probably had 2 or 3 there, and that would have them up at 7-2, something like that. We'll find out. Just another result to come in on sheet E. So 8-1 on sheet D, so solid win for Sterling there. So they're looking as if they might be able to get themselves back in contention for top spot. So possibly the more important games, at least from this correspondent's point of view, is our game over on sheet E. So we're on Skip Stones. There's a lot of Brad in the house. So last shot taken without camera. So that's the Slay Queens. Quite a bit of weight at a big pile in front. Sport of curling, that is the aim of Curling Western Australia. So the more eyeballs we can get on it, the better. And we thank you for one of Curling WA's favourite sons and sweeper extraordinaire. we've still got 5-3 with 1 stone to come from these Slay Queens. So we'll bring you the end of we'll bring you the final shot from sheet E. So the Slay Queens with skip Ollie Douglas to come in with her last. Share it with your friends and yeah, come down for a Learn to Curl. You can always follow us on Facebook and Streamer, and I believe we have an Instagram too. Anyway, that's good night from me, Jonathan, and good night from Brad.
Right, Scott. Thank you.
All right, and that's all for us. Have a lovely Sunday evening.
Still haven't visited the new Coburn Ice Arena? Maybe it's time to break the ice. Lessons, birthday parties, ice hockey games, there's always something exciting going on. Need some new gear? Don't stress, we've got you covered at WA's largest pro shop. After carving up the ice, keep warm and enjoy a coffee in the Frostbite Cafe. Or come down and watch an action-packed hockey game from our licensed restaurant and enjoy some Aussie American cuisine. So what are you waiting for? Get your skates on and visit us today. Still haven't visited the new Coburn Ice Arena?